What time is it? It's 2 already? Oh my god. I feel like I just woke up. But, yeah, let's get started with this what if. So I left off with him going to some kind of town with a festival. So, when he gets here, he of course goes there to get some food. And he would walk up to a ramen shop. Because, ramen, Naruto. And he would order the cheapest thing he could get, and I'm not gonna specify it. He would eat it, and he'd talk to the man at the counter, asking him what is going on. The man would say that there's a festival going on, and it's the festival of how our crops are doing so well. Our town is not too far from the land of rice, where crops can grow well, and so we're so close that our crops can grow almost as good as theirs, and our town makes money on it. And so every time we have a good haul of stuff, we have a festival every month. So yeah, it's where where every shop opens up and sells more every day. So, what are you doing here, kid? Naruto would say that he was just passing by. And he says, so are you alone? Since you walked up in here without anybody, your parents? I'd say yes, is that unusual? And the man would say, yes, of course it is. No 8-year-old or a child your age should be in the world alone. And Naruto says, to that, and would look the man dead in the eyes and says that's funny, and would pay the man. Of course, the man would look into Naruto's eyes, seeing despair and feelings of hatred bottled up into it. And he would pretty much get frightened from it. But Naruto would walk off. This is whenever I'll say he goes and he sleeps there for a couple days. And one morning he wakes up seeing a mob of people from the town, with pitchforks, all that, surrounding him, with a ninja from the village hidden, the sound village hidden in the sound, something like that. And he was called there because the man said that there is a monster kid here. Think of it like he was put into an infinite Tsukiyomi. He's seen all that instantly, almost as if it was hours long, to the man. When they see them, everybody's like, it's just a child. Until Naruto would step forward, up to the man, the shinobi, and would tap his foot a couple times, look him dead in the eyes, and that's whenever teeth would pop out of the ground and devouring him into a cat-like features. And that would be Kath that did this. Which people would see the monster and it would scare them. Of course, Kath would turn back to normal and hop onto Naruto's shoulder. Okay, I have no clue what was going on over there. Something was messing up, I guess, but Kath, yes, this monster cat would do this and devour a shinobi. And Naruto would say, your town's happy of your crops. and he would look around, and he would change the field's texture and move it to make it where all their crops would be destroyed. Then he would tell Calf to do some damage, pointing him towards the village or their town, with all of them freaking out as Calf would transform, jumping over them, running, and blasting his way through the area. And so Naruto would first book his debut with the leaf seeing this in the hit book, a picture of Naruto with Calf, depicting that he is a Jinchuriki or a fragment with some strange animal that can transform, which they either think that he created it or it was a summon creature that destroyed the town. Of course, the Sam would get this, or the Sound would see this and all that. Since Orochimaru is pretty much like the whole leader of the Sound in the background, or he would at least know about this, and they'd be interested in this kid, this jerky that has immense power, the Nine Tails. And so Naruto would have to deal with Shinobi chasing him. Of course, these would be higher up Shinobi, not weaklings or weaker ones. So his tricks of sneak attacking them, how he does to all the other ones, would not work, since they would not be cocky and underestimate him. So he would go into a forest, and he would hide there. And he would put his hand on a tree, opening it up, and going inside to it, and sleeping. Naruto would be on the run for 4 years, to age 12. Actually, around the time that everybody at the village, Sasuke, and Ino, and all those people, and Sakura, and all that, are getting into teams. Team 7 would consist of Sasuke, what was her name? Sakura, I just said her name earlier, and Sai. Sai has already, if you guys never watched Naruto, even though it's been out for years, Sai was there, already killed his brother and all that. He's there, ordered by Danzo to watch over Sasuke and see his improvements. So he would pretty much just be there as a watchdog. As Naruto has not been told by everybody else in the academy of his level of secrecy and what he is and what he's been doing, and that he's on the hit book. But whenever they do the whole training with the whole belt test, they would fail, but they would do the whole thing about leaving behind your teammates as scum and all that, and they would pass. And their first mission, or their missions, would be all D rank, but Danzo would assist to the third Hokage to give them a higher up one, which they begin in the C rank. He wants to test, he already knows that Sasuke is pretty strong, but he wants to test his limits. And so you would. The team would be sent on to the same mission with the bridge builder, heading through everywhere, coming all the way up to the Demon Brothers, and that's whenever the two teammates of Sai and Team 7 would be introduced to the hit book, the bingo book. And so, yeah. Sai would take them down, or take one down by using his beast throw. Sasuke would taijutsu one of them. Since, Kakashi looked like he was killed and all that. Everything would go about the same, running into, you know, Haku and Zabuza. But it's to the point where Haku would go to try to sacrifice himself for, what's his name? Zabuza. But this is when our figure would appear. A huge giant of a cat. And Naruto would jump off of it, grabbing both of them. And would disappear, which would confuse them. And that's whenever, but of course, Kakashi would know who that is, and seeing his eyes whenever he looked back at him. And the Team 7 would notice how he reacts, and they would ask if he knew him. And he would simply say that he was also somebody in the bingo book who went missing 4 years ago and ran. And he was told to be very dangerous with his abilities. That's it. I'm just wondering why he came here. When Naruto rushes off with them, he would take Zabuza and pretty much heal him with his ninjutsu, healing medical ninjutsu. And Haku would be just fine, since Sasuke couldn't do anything, neither could Sai. So, that's when Zabuza would ask, why are you here? And Naruto would say that you can't die yet, since the plans wouldn't work that well if you did. And so, he would tell Zabuza that he's getting out of style, and he seems to get rustier every time I see him. Why is that? Right now, Haku can probably take out your place as a swordsman. Of course, Naruto would go reach out his hand to grab Zabuza, but Haku would jump in the way, telling him to stop and all that. And Naruto would laugh and say, okay, well, you guys don't have to go on any other missions. Actually, Haku, you have some works as a Anbu, right? I need you to check out a village, the village hidden in the leaves. Of course, that might be too hard. And Zabuza, I need you to check out the village hidden in the sand. And I'll be heading to the village hidden in the sound for a while. Of course, you can heal this, right? And they would say yes. Naruto would be dashing off on top of Wild Catholics on his shoulder, heading for the Sound Village, or this village in the Sound, doing some recon. This is where he'd go into a area just like the one he's seen 4 years ago. Snake pillars and all, but not the same one. And he would get there, and he would hide on top of the roof with his chakra, and he would sit there on top of the snake. Of course, he would be listening, and this is whenever somebody call his name, and the person who called out his name would be Orochimaru, asking why is he here. Of course, Naruto would say that, wow, you get all defensive whenever somebody stalks you, but if you stalk somebody, you, whenever you stalk people. So, I've been hearing some rumors around the town that you're going to attack the Leaf Village. Is that true? Orochimaru would say, yes, what does it mean to you? I'm just wondering why I came up with the sand. You know the Raikage would also do this. And if you're going for the Jinchurikis, A, little brother B, has the 8 tails, the second strongest of all the tail beasts. So why not? Well, of course, Orochimaru would say something about, I don't really like that child's attitude, and his hot-headedness would get in my way. And of course he'd say that would be true. So, are you going after Hiruzen, the third Hokage? You know, that might be a hard challenge. Orochimaru would say that I have something up my sleeve, and Naruto would be intrigued, asking what that is. And he would say that you just have to wait and watch, if you want to know. And Naruto would say, okay. At the Leaf Village, the information that Naruto wanted is the stature of what's going on, who's going to be there, and how's the third Hokage doing, and all that. What level of strength does he have? He wants him to do some kind of sneak attack with a clone at his fullest speed. And of course he would do this, and the third Hokage would pull out his staff instantly before Haku can get a foot away from where he jumped off, and would smack the ice clone, destroying it. And that's whenever Haku would see this as like the death of his clone would come back to him, and you would see as how fast Hiruzen was, and he would head out of the Leaf Village. With Team 7 returning as Kakashi was about to walk into giving him the whole rundown, as he would see ice shards would fall to the ground. And he asked what was that. Hiruzen would say it seemed to be some kind of sneak attack, but it wasn't it was not for killing, it was more of a test, it seemed like. So you're here for the report, aren't you? And he would say yes. You get the details of what happened, explaining the ice user Haku and Zabuza. That's whenever he said that I just run into that fella. Haku, was it, right? And he would say yes. Haku would be heading back, and Zabuza would be at his place. He was told to get recon, but Naruto decided to give somebody a favor, and that would be Orochimaru. And Zabuza would be told to slay their Hokage. Right now, the people that Zabuza and all that, were much stronger than they were back in canon. In different ways. physical strength maybe a little bit, but their jutsu standards are much higher. But he would slay the Hokage of the village and leave with his head. With this being told around the whole, with this being hidden from any other village, since the Sand doesn't want this to be brought out, they would be in a big disadvantage. But of course, this big disadvantage, this would help further their attack, since if they can crush the Leaf Village and hope that all their targets on the Leaf Village would attack, instead of if their secrets get shot out or be told. But Zabuza would leave, and now the Sand Village has a personal grudge against him. And so this is where I'm gonna end it.